soon, so I'll just call you out. Michael, you want to do a quick intro?
Sure. Hi, I'm Michael. He, him. Excited to play.
Thanks, Sam.
And you got Hi, I'm Sam. I played a bunch of Ironsworn Starforged. I'm trying to get into some sci-fi great announcements.
Beth.
Hi, I'm Bethany. I use they them pronouns. I played a little bit of Ironsworn with Dan. That's my Ironsworn experience.
It was a little, but it was a lot. And Chris.
Hey guys.
Fantastic. All right, friends. So, default assumptions, scary space, lonely space, diverse, lots of broken world cultures, far-flung future, unexplored. My understanding is that this area of space that they're in is sort of separate from most of civilized space. I like how they had set up kind of a tone. Actually, let's find that. Here, they named lots of things that I am familiar with, like the Mandalorian, Outer Rim locations of the original Star Wars trilogy, workaday exploits of Firefly, isolated horror and industrial grittiness of Alien, desperation and retrotech of Battlestar Galactica's modern reboot, the mysticism of Dune, and the cosmic mysteries and class struggles of The Expanse. So no pressure. We only have to live up to these 6 or 7 different amazing things. But that, I think, sets the tone pretty nicely. The first step here is to sort of define the setting. The way Bethany and I did this last time, and I thought it worked pretty well, is there are, looks like about 10 different categories, maybe more, of things, a dozen different categories of aspects of the world. And we just went around the table and each person was in charge of picking the option for the group. And then we would move on to the next person, but we could also discuss it too. So I figure that's what we can do this time. This first one is fairly big. This one is about the cataclysm that kind of caused people to want to leave the original galaxy. So, Michael, I'm going to put you on the spot first. Why don't I read these options out loud, and then I'll just read the bold text, and then you can sort of zero in on which one you find the most interesting.
Hey, could I ask one question though?
Yeah, go.
Humans only, or are there aliens?
That is a great question. I think
I believe
That
it's
colors a
humans
lot of
only.
this. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's humans only. There are creatures, but
So
the intelligent life is largely just humans. Because we sort of went on an exodus from our original galaxy. So the cataclysm, the sun plague extinguished the stars in our home galaxy. That sounds fun. Interdimensional entities invaded our reality, as they are wont to do. And we escaped the ravages of a catastrophic war. Michael, do you have a preference for any of those?
Oh boy. These are all things you want to happen.
That's
I think the sun plague, just because I think it's the most kind of different one on the list.
I'm okay with that, though sometimes we mark off plagues or pandemics in our lines and veils, and I do not see that.
Oh, I was going to say, if we did, then that would be totally cool. I can change that.
Right, but
I mean, sorry.
Go ahead, Bethany.
It's a weird name for it, but I don't think it refers to a plague at all.
not of humans. of
It's
stars.
like a bunch of stars blowing up. Yeah,
Right. I don't know. Everybody's got their own plague. So,
that's true.
the anomaly, actually, Michael, do you want to read the details of this?
Yeah, the anomaly traveled at incredible speeds, many times faster than light itself, and snuffed out the stars around us before we realized it was coming. Few of us survived as we made our way to this new galaxy. Here in the Forge, the stars are still aflame. We cling to their warmth like weary travelers huddled around a fire. We suspect the sun plague was caused by...
Do you have a preference among these?
Again, these all sound like things you want to happen. Let's go with sudden dark matter decay because that just sounds ominous as hell.
The
Perfect.
dark matter's breaking down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Everyone good with that?
I'm on board. Yeah.
All right, sun plague. It is with sudden dark matter decay, whatever that means. All right, let's move on to the next one. Sam, you're next on the list here. So this is Exodus. When the Exodus fleet set off on a ponderous journey to a new home outside our galaxy, they marked the Forge as their destination. Countless generations lived out their lives aboard those titanic ships during the millennia-long passage. That's one option. Another option is a ragtag fleet of ships, propelled at tremendous speeds by experimental FTL drives, carried our ancestors to the Forge, but the technology that powered the ships is said to be the source of the sundering, another thing that's gone wrong, a fracturing of reality which plagues us here today. Man, we just can't catch a break. And then the last is mysterious alien gates provided instantaneous one-way passage to the Forge. So the Forge is sort of the name of this place that we've settled in. Sam, do any of those jump out?
Yeah, I'm looking at that last one. Mysterious alien gates is always very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. How do we feel about like Mass Effect? Have you guys read any Hyperion? Oh, okay.
Sam,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to ask Sam to read the rest of that selection.
Oh, yeah. In the midst of the cataclysm, our ancestors found a strange metal pillar on our homeworld's moon. A map on the surface of this alien relic detailed the deep space locations of the Iron Gates, massive devices which powered artificial wormholes. With no other options, the Exodus ships fled through the gates and emerged here on the Forge.
Love it. I mean, those pillars are following us everywhere we go. Do you remember in the last game we had those pillars? Sweet.
Sean does love his pillars.
That feels really good.
We're gonna end up in a different place than like the touchstones that was by default.
Yeah. Or some weird combination of them. Bethany, you're next on my list to do communities. So communities, few survived the journey to the Forge, and we are scattered to the winds in this perilous place. Second option is dangers abound, but there is safety in numbers. Many ships and settlements are united under the banner of one of the founder clans. And the last option is we have made our mark in this galaxy, but the energy storms we call balefires threaten to undo that progress, leaving our communities isolated and vulnerable. Damn. Which one of those jumps out at you?
I think number 3.
just layer in the chaos.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, number 3. Like, we've made progress, and now we have something to lose.
Did like the alien portals help us at all? Make our mark? What's that mean?
So, Bethany, you want to read the rest of that?
Sure. Starships navigate along bustling trade routes between settlements. We've built burgeoning outposts on the fringes of known sectors, and bold spacers chart new paths, into unexplored domains. But this hard-earned success is threatened by the chaotic balefires, intense energy anomalies which cut off trade routes and threaten entire planets. Cool.
So do we feel like maybe those balefires also cut off the mysterious alien gates too? Like, the gates are said to be one way. Were they one way because these balefires destroyed them?
Oh yeah, maybe they were damaged on this side by the balefires. So
Or did using the gates trigger the, like, when we got dumped out, it caused a rip in reality, and that is what causing these balefires.
Do we have to turn off the one-way gates though? Because the first one's pretty cool, but the second one's going to be even cooler if it comes back, you know?
What do you mean the second one?
I don't know. I mean, it might be out there. There might be some event. It's like,
Oh, you mean someone coming through the gate?
hey man, we're playing characters here, and if I see a second alien gate open, I'm gonna go through. Okay,
going through that gate. I like the idea of our coming through the gates triggered these balefires, so we are the makers of our own doom.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that there's a correlation one way or the other, definitely.
Yeah.
And like maybe maybe this is definitely a one-way, gate, and we screwed it up, and that's what caused the balefires. But that doesn't mean there's not more alien gates
To be found.
around.
Yeah.
But they're one way, so who knows where you'd end up.
All right, here we are on iron. So Chris, you're up. Iron. There are three options. Iron vows are sworn upon the remnants of ships that carried our people to the forge. Second option is iron vows are sworn upon totems crafted from the enigmatic metal we call black iron. And the last is the Ironsworn bind their honor to iron blades. Which one of those jumps out at you, Chris?
Maybe two. Were there ships involved with our one-way gate? I didn't feel like there was. I was imagining people going through gates.
Oh, I thought there were ships going through the gates. That's a good question.
Because we clearly fly ships though, because of the communities though, right? Like we have those trade routes, so we clearly are space capable.
So it's interesting because it's and the gate was on the moon, our moon, our original moon. Deep space locations of the Iron Gates, massive devices which powered artificial wormholes. I still take that to mean like ships went through.
Yeah, that sounds like
okay.
Deep space gates means that they're floating out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So based on that, does that sort of change your
that colors the whole thing, man? I did that. I like the first one the most. I think that's cool.
The remnants of the ships that carried our people to the forge. Fantastic. You want to read the rest of that?
Yeah, many of our outposts were built from the iron bones of the Exodus ships. Fragments of the ship were also given to survivors as a remembrance and passed from one generation to the next. Today, the Ironsworn swear vows upon the shards to honor the sacrifice of their forebears, the essence of the places left behind, and souls of those great ships. That's a good one, man.
So ominous.
Yeah.
The ships have souls. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I get to do laws. Much of the settled domains are a lawless frontier. Criminal factions and corrupt leaders often hold sway. Laws, that's the first option. The second option is laws and governance vary across settled domains, but bounty hunters are given a wide latitude to pursue their contracts. Their authority is almost universally recognized and supersedes local laws. And our communities are bound under the terms of the covenant, a charter established after the Exodus. The organization called the Keepers is sworn to uphold these laws. So do we want to play cops? Do we want to play bounty hunters? Or do we want to play outlaws? I'm trying to think, given that we basically have 3-ish sessions, like what's going to kind of give us the best framework. I feel like having some kind of centralized authority gives us something to rebel against or press up against. So I'm inclined to do this last one just to create kind of a known, like in Firefly, kind of the empire in Firefly. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, that's cool. Built-in conflict, man. We're on one side or the other.
Yeah. So most settlements are still governed under the covenant and yield to the authority of the keepers, but a few view the covenant as dogmatic, impractical, and unjust relic of our past. In those places, the keepers find no welcome. I feel pretty good about that choice. All right. We are now religion. We're back at the top of the order. So Michael, you're up. Religion, our gods have failed us. We left them behind. They did not get to come on the ships with us. Our faith is as diverse as our people. That's the second option. And the third is 3 dominant religious orders, the triumvirate battle for influence and power within the Forge.
I like 2 and I like 3. Given that we have like a centralized government, do people feel positively about the fact that there are like religious factions fighting for control of it, or do we just want to have that separate and have less of a focus on religious dominance? Any strong feelings? I see Sam shrugging.
I like a little bit of the diverse thing. It's either that or like you kind of have to position the religions within that context of the two, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, let's go. Our faith is as diverse as our people. Many have no religion or offer an occasional prayer out of habit. Others pay homage to the gods of our forebears as a way of connecting to their roots. Some idealize the natural order of the universe and see the divine in the gravitational dance of stars or the complex mechanisms of a planetary ecosystem. And many now worship the primordials, gods of a fallen people who once dwelt within the Forge.
Nice.
Well, I didn't get that last part's cool.
Yeah.
The primordials.
Yeah, all of these prompts are just like dripping with lore.
I can't handle it all. All right. That's great. I'm excited to do this next one. I think Sam, you're up. Magic. Magic does not exist, or supernatural powers are wielded by those rare people we call paragons, or unnatural energies flow through the Forge. It binds us. It holds all living things together. Magic and science are 2 sides of the same coin. Damn, this is a big choice.
This is a very big choice. I don't. Yeah, I like kind of the if we're gonna go full sci-fi and kind of lean into the more science-y tropes, I do like the magic is science, science is magic kind of direction, instead of less Jedi, more like there's ways of meshing these 2 things, and now that we are advanced enough, we know what we're talking about.
Or do we have like forerunners, or like the Prometheans, you know?
I don't know that
Things
reference.
behind. Okay.
Soon after our arrival, some displayed the ability to harness the Forge's energies. Today, mystics invoke the power to manipulate matter or see beyond the veils of our own universe. But this can be a corrupting force, and the most powerful mystics are respected and feared in equal measure.
I like it. Great. Let's move on. I totally lost my place here. Yeah, we are on communication and data, and I think that's Bethany. So communication and data, much was lost when we came to the Forge. It is a dark age. Or information is life. We rely on a guild of spaceborne couriers, the heralds, to transport messages and data across the vast distances between settlements, interdimensional librarians, and or in settled domains, a network of data hubs called the Weave allow near instantaneous communication and data sharing between ships and outposts. He was like, I'm just going to think of a million things and put them in this book. Yeah. Bethany, do you like one of those?
I'm leaning toward 3. In settled domains, communication is instantaneous, easy. It's not it's not an issue. But like if you get outside those, who knows?
Yeah.
It's like having bad cell phone service, once you get out in the country.
Yeah, I like the idea of information itself is not scarce, right? Data is not,
Right.
a scarcity, but there are these weak points, these weave hubs. So.
Mhm. So yeah, because of their importance, weave hubs are often targets for sabotage, and communication blackouts are not uncommon. Beyond the most populous sectors, travelers and outposts are still commonly isolated and entirely off the grid.
Nice. I feel okay with that. Everyone okay with that? Great.
Yeah.
Chris, you're up to talk about medicine. Our advanced medical technologies and expertise was lost during the Exodus. Or to help offset a scarcity of medical supplies and knowledge, technicians we call riggers create basic organ and limb replacements. Or the menders are an order of sworn healers who preserve our medical knowledge and train new generations of caregivers.
I feel pretty strongly 3.
Any concerns about that?
Yeah.
Sworn healers. Do you want to read the rest of it?
Yeah. Advanced care is usually available only with the larger settlements, but even remote communities are often served by a novice mender. Some menders are travelers who offer preventative care and respond to emergencies to isolated communities. Cool. It's like local witches and with mystics and wisdoms,
Right. I'm getting a Northern Exposure vibe about the doctor who showed up in that remote Alaska town. Yeah. All right. We're doing great, friends. Artificial intelligence. I think this is me. Artificial intelligence. We no longer have access to advanced computer systems. Instead, we must rely on the specialists we call adepts. Hello, job security. Or the vestiges of advanced machine intelligence are coveted and wielded by those in power. Interesting. Or artificial consciousness emerged in the time before the Exodus, and sentient machines live with us here in the forge. Oh my goodness. Oh, I read this initially as the machines were there when we got here, but it seems like we brought them with us.
Oh.
I think I want to create a little bit of.
You can make your own truth, and because showing up in a galaxy populated by robots is pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, that is awesome.
You guys played
the
Mass Effect?
only thing left of the ancient civilization.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually inclined to do number 2 because I sort of like the idea of using this AI as a source of, it's mysterious and it's kind of a source of power. I mean, we'd be leaning really hard into the AI is evil trope, but maybe that is okay.
We wouldn't necessarily be. It's who's controlling the AI that might be evil.
That's true.
Oh, for sure.
Or what if
Have you guys seen? Oh, God.
What if the AI was here to start with? Combine the ideas there, and those in power are trying to control it, but like they probably have no idea how, because this is weird alien technology. But
yeah, I kind of like that it was here. They weren't robots. There was an AI here, and the people sort of behind the covenant, which I think is the choice that we made in terms of laws. So this sort of centralized authority has now kind of is desperately trying to harness the AI.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about the gatekeeper?
And that person is known as the gatekeeper. Love it. Sam, are you okay writing any or all of that? You want me to take a crack at it? Oh, you got it. All right, shall we move on to, we have just a few of these left.
Can we go back to the AI though?
Yeah,
Because I don't think like the AI is like, I think you said it, Dan, like we're just trying to make use of it, right? We don't have full access to the AI, right?
right.
Yeah,
And
and I think
I sense that only the Covenant folks, like the people in power, have access to the resources that allow them
yeah.
to kind of tap into it. I wonder if there are sort of hubs or things like that's some kind of device that they're trying to figure out.
That's cool.
Anyone else want to add on to that?
Oh, I just wrote down the remnants of an ancient AI was discovered in the Forge and was quickly controlled and locked down by the Covenant. What remains is under the control of powerful organizations and people and is often wielded as a weapon or deterrent. The rest of us must make do with primitive systems.
Love it. That's perfect. Thank you. All right, we're back at the top of the order, and it looks like we are talking about war, Michael. War. Here in the Forge, resources are too precious to support organized fighting forces or advanced weaponry. Or those few with the ability to pay can call on the Legion, a guild of professional soldiers, to defend or expand their holdings. The rest of us are on our own. Or war never ends. Talented weaponsmiths and shipwrights craft deadly, high-tech tools of destruction. Dominant factions wield mighty fleets and battle-hardened troops. Any of those jumping out at you?
Yeah. As usual, they all sound pretty interesting.
The last game, Michael, you and I played together was Star Trek, and I don't feel like any of that is represented here.
That's true. There is definitely no semblance of peace.
Yeah.
So I will say straight up that I don't super like the second option. And given that we have magic, we've established that magic and tech are kind of on the same level, and we have pretty advanced stuff. Otherwise, it seems like we want to go with War Never Ends and just kind of lean into horrible dystopic space future.
Who are we fighting though? Who's fighting who?
Each other, I think.
Which side? You know,
Everybody's fighting everybody.
Do we want to make this?
Because of the Covenant, right? Can you fight within the Covenant? I'd always assumed that you're the Covenant, you're together. You know.
Well, there's 3 religions, each trying to take over.
No, we didn't go with that.
Each other?
The verse, right?
Yeah, we didn't do that religion option.
Right. Forgot about that.
But even the single covenant could still have, like a dozen noble houses or whatever that are still kind of fighting.
We've devolved to feudalism, and everybody's trying to fight to expand their holdings. And though everybody's kind of playing by the same rules, those rules are pretty loose when it comes to beating each other up.
I also feel like there are outer worlds, and there may be where the Covenant's hold might not be as strong, sort of a Firefly kind of model.
Right.
And so there may be fighting out there because of scarcity. I mean, another approach would be more like The Expanse, if you're familiar with that, where certainly in the early parts of the TV show, I didn't read the books, there was no war, right? It was sort of like this constant threat of war was about. And I personally would find that more interesting than fighting everywhere. Is like there's this constant threat that the factions are going to descend into fighting. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I like that a lot more.
Mm-hmm. A very cold peace.
Yes. Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
That's a different truth than we got on the board, but I think that's a good one.
I I have a lot of faith in Sam to write our truth for us. Sam, do you want us to give you a moment?
If we talk more, he's got more.
Am I next?
No, I was counting on you to write what we just said.
I'm good to write a thing, but we'll look back around to it. I can
right.
pick life forms while we're.
Yeah, you're a life form. So this is a perilous and often inhospitable galaxy, but life finds a way. Many sites and planets are infested by dreadful forge spawn, which is just a great word. These aberrant creatures threaten to overrun other life in the galaxy, or life in the forge was seeded and engineered by the Essentia, ancient entities who enact their inscrutable will in this galaxy. I believe that is the Q reference from Star Trek.
Yeah, we've already talked about the potentia, the primordials and these ancient alien gates. So I feel like we can lean in onto that ancient being seeded life in this galaxy. Maybe that's what the gates were originally there for them to go and check on their experiments type thing.
So do you want to read the rest of that out loud?
The Essentia are the architects of life within the Forge. These omniscient beings are rarely encountered and have powers and purpose beyond our comprehension. Some worship them, others resist or rebel against them. But trying to defy the will of the Essentia is like standing at the shore of an ocean to thwart the tide. They are inevitable.
Wow.
Oh.
Is this saying that like the Essentia are still around, or is this more of the Essentia were around and we have like we see the evidence of them all over the place, but we haven't actually found any?
And I'm seeing are rarely encountered. So that means they are encountered, just not very often. Just like the season finale. That's when they show up.
Okay. I'm good with that.
And what I don't like about this one, I'm happy to go with it, but I got a good sense of what let's call it native life, the local flora and fauna. But I don't have a good sense of what that is in this last one. Are we thinking it's like all of these worlds have very diverse ecosystems? Are we thinking there's not a lot of hostile life forms? What do we think?
To me, the way this read was that they are basically experimenting with different planets, and like every planet is a different experiment testing a different thing, and they're just gonna like make a bunch of plants that happen to be like one Essentia was super interested in toxicity, and so there's a whole planet that everything is toxic or poisonous or dangerous or some nonsense, and so that might let us do some weird like themed planets type things if we want to, but everything kind of leaning back to this, every planet is wildly different from the next one.
Perfect. I love that description. That was great. Thanks. Shall we move on to Precursors? I think we're up to Bethany. Over eons, a vast number of civilizations rose and fell within the Forge. Today, the folk we call grubs, scavenger crews, and audacious explorers delve into the mysterious monuments and ruins of those ancient beings. Or the ascendancy and advanced spacefaring empire once ruled the entirety of the Forge. Vaults of inscrutable purpose, are all that remain to mark the ascendancy's legacy, but those places are untethered from our own reality. Or the biomechanical life forms we call the remnants, engineered by civilizations as weapons in a cataclysmic war, survived the death of their creators. Bethany, which one of these do you like?
I think I'm going to go with the first one. I like the idea that just like there have been so many civilizations and some of them make sense to us and some of them it's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what purpose that could possibly have ever served, but it's there.
There it is. Do you want to read the rest to us?
Sure. Incomprehensible technologies, inexorable time, and the strange energies of the Forge have corrupted the vaults of the Precursors. Despite the perils, grubs scour these places for useful resources and discoveries. But some secrets are best left buried, and many have been lost to the forsaken depths of the vaults.
Love it. That sounds great. Anyone want to add to that? Everyone okay with that? All right, Chris, take us home. You get to do horrors. Put enough alcohol in a spacer and they'll tell you stories of ghost ships crewed by vengeful undead. It's nonsense. Or most insist that horrors aren't real. Spacers know the truth. Or the strange energies of the Forge give unnatural life to the dead. The Soulbinders are an organization sworn to confront these horrifying entities. Chris, which one of those do you like?
I don't like 3. I don't want to be like Ghostbusters in space.
I mean, that sounds cool, but that's another game.
That's not, totally different game, not the vibe we're on. What's the difference between 1 and 2 here?
I want to say it's like the frequency and like understanding. So the first one is like, you know, you'll hear ghost stories from some people sometimes, whereas the second one is like most spacers have encountered something strange.
Okay,
Yeah, so I think
okay.
the first one is saying that you hear ghost stories, but they're not necessarily true. The second one is saying there are lots of ghost stories and they're true, but it's uncommon to actually run into them.
Yeah, no. Let's go with number 1 then, right? Totally like spooky. I like the idea that the who is it? But hold on. Do anyone has anyone strong opinions between 1 or 2? No.
I mean, space horror is just not my kind of thing. I'd rather sort of lean more into the politics side of things. So I don't, know how much it'll come up, but I don't really care either way.
All right, I like 1.
Also, this is just ghosts. There can totally be plenty of other horrifying things.
Right. So Chris, why don't you read the rest of them there?
Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, I kind of like.
Oh. Did everyone else?
Yeah, I think I might be breaking up, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Within the Forge, space and time are as mutable and unstable as a flooding river. When reality can't be trusted, we are bound to encounter unsettling phenomena.
Love it. We did it, friends. We did it. We got through section 1, our truths. I'm being called away to do some dad stuff. So why don't we take our break now, if that is okay with all of you? I've got 2 minutes before the hour, so why don't we just make it even and say we'll come back at 10 past the top of the hour. Sound okay? Fantastic. I will see you all in 12 minutes.
Oh my God, what just happened?
Sorry about that. The AI is engaged. No, I restarted the recording because I knew I would forget to do it.
Gotcha.
Which is why I'm sorry I interrupted you.
That's totally okay. I was just very thrown for a second. I think I'm gonna take Kineticist, wherever the hell it went, as my first one.
That sounds awesome. What is it? Is it
Can you do
kinetic?
that?
I can't find the card now.
Is this it?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, kinetic.
I turned on organize the cards, and I'm not going to do that anymore.
You would think that would organize them by name, but it does not.
Yeah, it can't read they're just images. It can't read.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Doesn't have OCR.
Chris, you want to pick one now?
I've been looking for it the whole time. Is there some honor bound?
Oh yeah, there should be.
I read it on the Your Truths. It was tied to the ships thing.
I see Loyalist.
Bannersworn, which kind of works.
Might be that. I don't want to be a delegate though. I'm not a delegate.
I wonder if that's a typo in the game.
We got to let them know.
I don't owe that guy anything. I backed his Kickstarter. That should be enough.
Same.
Before it comes out for real, right?
I'm just, yeah.
You gotta right. It's supposed to be honor bound, right? Or do we think it's what is I can't even find the other one.
Yeah, wait, now let me.
Do we think
Now
it's
I'm-
Ironsworn?
Now I'm genuinely curious. So I'm going to download the original file because it's possible I missed it.
No,
No, it's not in the assets.
Oh,
I
no.
just grepped the rule book. It is mentioned once in all caps, but I also don't see a card for it outside
Yeah.
of the rule book. Hashtag alpha.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right, let's make it work anyway. What was the other one? Bannersworn? I
That may
assume
be
that's-
it's
I assume
Yeah.
it's probably that's got it. If it's not,
It's
what's the deal?
two over, 3 down.
Yep. You're bound to clan, faction, or creed. When you swear, yeah, that's definitely it. All right. Well, we'll let them know.
I am going to take Devotent. Because like I said, it's not a thing I usually do. And Bethany's already picked their second. So I think we are up to Sam.
Oh, it's back around to me again. So I am a gearhead. Let's go with fugitive.
That's nice.
I think that could be a fun mix.
Can I just ask what like the ship? Are we all? Is it a shared ship? Not to
Yeah.
go too far out, but just
Yeah. That's one of the premises of the game is
Mhm.
we're on a shared ship together.
shared ship together.
That's
Dude,
That's why I made the card huge.
I figured as much. Do we want to talk at all about like what we do on the ship together? I feel like it would help me figure out what the second card is.
Sure.
I don't have any ideas.
Do you want to lay claim to a role on the ship?
I'd rather not be the captain. I like security. I think that would be fun. I mean, Worf is a great character. You know, it's easy to play into that. But I don't know if we get into, I don't know who we fly for. Are we pirates? Privateers? Scavengers? Explorers?
I mean, now's as good a time as any for us to talk about sort of the tone of our group. Are we
I'm gonna put it out there that we have both an outcast and a fugitive.
Who's the
Yeah.
fugitive? Was it for good reasons you got locked up?
Oh no, I never got locked up. I'm too good of a fugitive.
That's why
for
you're
that.
fugitive.
Oh yeah, fair. Okay.
I mean, so the nature of our story, is it going to be heisty? Again, with an outcast and a fugitive.
Yeah, the other option is we lean very solo or Firefly and end up in like the smuggling direction,
Right.
which also leans very much into that.
Or
And then if we went that way, we could play off of we've got all these factions that really don't trust each other and kind of a thing.
Well, you might be a fugitive and or an outcast from the main faction, but that may not be true like with some of the other factions. Right?
Exactly.
So
But we
I
could
don't think
also
the Covenant's not that central anymore though, right? The Covenant's like a lot of different factions within it. in a cold piece, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But we could also just completely ignore that and be like explorations, like scavengers type deal, where
Oh, yeah.
it's more about going to planets and like finding these ancient ruins of the, what do we call them?
Oh, the precursors?
Essentia, the precursors of
oh.
the Essentia, like
the Essentia.
yeah, trying to like
They're both- yeah.
discover their secrets and sell them type thing. Could also be very fun.
I mean, we could also do that for someone, like, as opposed to like just going independently and then hoping we can sell the stuff. We could be sent there by a faction. If we wanted to be
Explorers
linked
for
to a faction.
hire,
Yeah,
because there's something valuable or interesting or powerful to help one of those factions.
Yeah, we've got the grubs thing. Are we grubs?
I
Be the
think
grub.
so. I like to imagine that, like, okay, here's the big question. What the heck is the Forge?
I think that's just the name of the galaxy.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Is it though? I thought it was like we were separate off from the galaxy. Wasn't that the setup?
There's a different, it's not the Milky Way. It's a different galaxy that we went to.
There's actually a reasonably good picture, surprisingly.
the galaxy we escaped to.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a galaxy though. I was mad for when I hear Forge, I was just thinking.
Yeah. So this is the galaxy,
Hold on.
and then the Forge is like 1,700 light years above the galactic plane. You know,
Yeah,
it seems like a nice place to stay. And then
it's this intergalactic thing.
yes,
Like, there's other galaxies besides the Milky Way, right? There's Andromeda that's eventually going to crash into us.
and then I sense that this is sort of like a mini galaxy. So there's like stars, lots of stars. And the terminus is the name of the area in which the gates opened up. And like, that's where we got dumped out. And then we've slowly been exploring the outlands and the expanse and the void, which has increasingly fewer numbers of habitable worlds and stars.
So I feel like probably the Covenant's just getting into the outlands, right? The expanse has to be like the totally free part of this thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's without putting too fine a point on it, sort of Wild West out there.
For sure. I like it. All right. Did that help us figure out what sort of crew we were?
I like kind of paid scavengers. I think that's kind of, it gives us something to go with, doesn't tie us down too much.
Yeah, it gives us a lot of fun stuff to play with.
That's just where we're starting too, because there's all sorts of nonsense we could get wrapped up in.
All right, so now who are we on? I think Sam, were we on you for your second?
No, I got both of mine. I'm a gearhead. What was it? Gearhead.
Fugitive. How could you forget?
I kept wanting to say refugee, but that's not the right word.
Slightly different.
That'd be a completely different game.
I think we're on Chris's second.
Oh, Chris.
I could be a mercenary. Like, what's the question is, what's the sort of vibe of this crew? Are we freshly minted? Are we long running?
I think maybe we've been doing this for a bit. Maybe one or two of us are newcomers to the group.
Who amongst us is running the ship, or is someone else running the ship? Or, you know,
I would be
the captain, right?
Yeah, certainly when we played Star Trek, we had the captain was an NPC, which I kind of liked, because then we could sort of leave them on the ship. They could sort of become, we can use the oracles to indicate what they want. Like, it just makes it a little easier for us to manage our group, I think. So would that be all right?
Yeah, I like that actually.
Yeah, that worked really well in Star Trek.
Wait, sorry. Did you play Star Trek in Ironsworn, or
No,
the 2D20 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a heavily modified 2D20. And then further modified because I'm terrible at remembering rules. So I think we had a good time.
We did.
It counts.
So Chris, you cannot delay any longer.
Yes, no more stalling.
I mean, we can move on. We can come back to you.
I'm the mercenary. I'm the mercenary.
All right, you're diving in. I love it.
All right, Dan, I'm torn between two, so you pick your last one,
Oh, but
and maybe
Michael.
you'll make it easier for me.
Michael, you think that I've been paying attention. And I'm maybe augmented.
Ooh.
Maybe augmented. So I was thinking about maybe combining devoted and gunslinger to sort of like a very religious kind of murderer type person.
A
But I'm
gun
not sure we
paladin.
need. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
fucking Roland from the Dark Tower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if I want to go too Western. And then I was thinking,
Well, I mean, we're in danger. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm thinking shade, but it doesn't sound like we're going to be doing too much like sneaking by other people. We're just going to be tomb raiding essentially. I'm wondering if, and then I saw augmented, and I always like doing something like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
All right. I think I'm going to pull the trigger, and my last one is going to be scavenger.
That makes sense.
That'll help.
It certainly won't hurt.
All right. I believe we all have selected 2. Look at us. We've chosen 2 paths. We create our backstory. We write our background vow. So if you haven't done this before, let's see if I can, if they've got some good guidance. So writing a vow, the characters sort of revolve around vows, which are promises that they've made that kind of drive their behavior, drive their intention. As we progress, you make progress towards completing that vow. Given that we're only playing 3 sessions, it seems unlikely that we are going to complete our vows. That being said, it's always good to work towards. And so you might want to think not necessarily, I'm going to save the galaxy level vow, right? Because that's not going to happen in 3 sessions, but maybe I will recover a specific artifact. Creating your backstory, I think, is helpful. And they've got some prompts here I'm sharing right now from the PDF. So those prompts can then help you think about what sort of promise you want your character to make. So I could use a few minutes of quiet time to just kind of look through this stuff and think through it. So why don't we kind of take a few minutes of quiet time and think through that, and then come back and talk it through. Sound okay? Great. I have gotten carried away with writing my backstory. Does anyone need more time?
I just need a couple. I'll be okay.
Okay. I'm gonna write my vow real fast, and then I'll come right back.
So it looks like there are 3 extra tracks that aren't in Ironsworn. I'm done with my background and stuff. Do you want me to add those in? I think they're the quests, bonds, and discoveries thing.
Yeah, are those at the character level?
Yeah, everybody has tracks for those.
Oh yeah, look at those. Okay. Yeah, because right now we just have the one track, right?
Yeah, I mean, so it would just be adding.
I mean, we could treat lines 24 through 28, right? In Ironsworn, you have like those lines and lines of other vows that you can swear. Should we do a quick go around of sharing the vows that we have written, if you are ready to do so? I put my background vow in line 26 of this spreadsheet. And the backstory that I've come up with is that I'm an augmented individual. My augmentation enhances my sense of hearing, and I am blind. So I've got a little daredevil action going there. But my implants were used to erase my memories. And I do get flashbacks to traumatic events, and there's a mysterious woman in my flashbacks who I don't know who that is. So my vow is to find out who the woman is in my flashbacks. That's mine.
Very fun.
Bethany, you are next on the character keeper. Are you ready to share a vow?
How the hell did you come up with that much detail? I'm like, I don't know. I did something to get outcast.
You know what? I looked on the table of backstory prompts and I saw haunted by past actions. Yeah,
I didn't see that either.
Oh, you guys are missing
All right.
out.
All right.
Haunted by past
okay,
actions.
no, the backstory
or
prompts I
failures.
did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that doesn't help with the vow at all for me though. Maybe I need a different backstory.
One thing leads to another. And here we are. So.
But it didn't. That's the problem. So I need a different backstory. Like there's no obvious vow that jumps out at me from that. Yeah, I'll change my backstory.
Do you want to come back?
With a vow.
Do you want us to come back to you?
Yes, please.
All right.
I'm ready.
I'm going in character keeper order. So I got Sam next.
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing Lexi Locke, who is I don't know how much she's told you all about her past. She's pretty closed about it, but for the player level, she is a cast off child of a noble house that kind of disinherited her, and she has sworn vengeance to destroy them by any means necessary.
Damn. That's awesome. Is that what she's a fugitive from? Her house?
I think it's kind of a chicken and the egg situation of she was rebellious to begin with, and they kicked her out, and she might have caused a lot of trouble and maybe a couple of explosions and gotten in trouble with local police, and then they officially disenfranchised her. It's a whole thing, and
Yeah.
the order of things gets lost.
Understood. That's fantastic. Michael, you're next.
Sure. I'm going to be playing as Rajni Malik, and she grew up on one of those kind of essentially like outer rim kind of planets. And after this kind of war broke out on the planet, she ended up getting separated from her brother, who ended up being taken off planet. So she has been traveling around to try and find him, and is kind of like a grub for them, travel and, get enough money to kind of keep eating and stay alive.
I like that sort of, but because she's traveling, that might help her find her, locate her brother.
Exactly.
That's great. Chris, you're up.
Cool. Where did you guys copy and paste the assets? Sorry. Oh, is it a drop down?
No, there's in the Google Drive, there's a PDF of just the assets singles.
Oh, perfect.
And that is actually text that you can copy.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, cool. I'll do that in a minute then. I am Garmok.
That's awesome.
He, him. We're trying to do Hamlet. I lost the duel to my uncle, and my father was shamed for it and presumably dead. Who cares? But I need to gain enough honor outside. Like essentially, I've exiled myself, and I need to gain enough honor to challenge him once more to avenge my father. His name is Garduz. This is Clan
Montoya action.
Yeah.
There.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Very cool.
Haunted by past failures.
Yeah, Jesus, I didn't even look at the backstory prompts.
Oh, really?
They're pretty good.
They're good.
If this guy can do anything, he can write lists of prompts. That is for sure. Bethany, are you ready to share? Or should we come back to?
Okay. So I haven't written the vow because I don't know who this is, but I'm a former mender who rejected a duty or destiny or obligation, which in this case was to heal someone who I really didn't want to heal. And I'm wondering, this is obviously somebody powerful who I have a grudge against. And I'm wondering if maybe that is someone in government, or to tie myself to another character that could be someone related to Lexi.
Oh,
That's very fun.
someone in Lexi's family.
Yeah.
That's
Someone with a lot of power that I really don't like.
that's
Yeah,
great.
I feel like the way I was kind of envisioning my family was basically almost a power vacuum type thing, where the leader of the household died or got disenfranchised somehow, and so all of the children started infighting, trying to take control of the family, and so you could very easily have been in with one of my siblings.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Do they have a name?
So far, all I have is the Locke family.
Okay. Well, a luck family member who was in a position to make my life miserable somehow. Um,
Common foe. I love it.
So if we are ready to move on, the next step is to talk about our starship. That's board the starship. And just to give you all a heads up, the step after that is to choose one more asset. That is coming down the pipe. They've given us a couple of tables, which will help things out. So we're basically, this is an asset that we all have, the command vehicle, the starship, and we should give the starship a history. I'll ask Michael, because you're first on my Zoom here. Do any of these jump out at you?
Let's take a look. So I see two that jump out pretty immediately. The first that I'm eyeing is granted by an organization or community. Like if we are in fact grubs for someone, that would fit. The other one that I really like is discovered as a derelict and patched back together. So even our ship is, kind of makeshift.
Yeah, I love it. And that actually makes me wonder. So we decided the captain is an NPC, right?
Mhm.
Is this just the captain's ship and we are sort of hired or weaseled our way on somehow? Does that feel right to everyone, or do we collectively own this ship?
I'm a mercenary.
I say screw hierarchy. We all collectively own everything. It's a joint venture.
So the captain's role is merely to provide a command structure for us. Or is there no captain on this ship?
Well,
Is it
I always
possible?
I am almost in, like, I would posit that maybe the captain isn't so much of a leadership role as much as it is a negotiatory role. Like, they're the one who will go on base and like do the finances and score us contracts.
Right.
And that's why they're the captain. But when it comes to actually like getting stuff done and being on a planet, they're kind of useless.
Just
I
sit
like
in the
the
big
face of the
chair.
crew,
Yeah, just
the one who's not currently wanted for anything.
right.
What if
Our-
so
so
it's a
our-
derelict?
our captain is more like our accountant.
I like that idea. What if, different option, it's a derelict. So what if it had an advanced intelligence on it and the ship runs itself by picking out crew to help it earn enough money to keep it maintained?
Interesting.
Like we are serving the ship. The ship is flying us around, mostly to keep it. It's like a negotiated position almost. I don't know. It's a totally different concept. I do like the captain is just the connection. That makes our lives easier to like run it. But
I feel like one of the tropes that I like in sci-fi, and this does get us into a certain tone, is kind of a grumpy AI on board the ship. So maybe there is a captain. I like having a captain that we can all sort of like play off of, but also having an AI on the ship that may or may not have our best interests and or health and well-being in mind. That it sees the relationship less as one of servitude and one more of mutual helping. So
yeah, I think we can do both.
does that feel all right?
Yeah,
That sounds
I like
great.
it. Maybe like the AI is playing a different game. The captain's in charge, but the AI is doing,
Right. Of course, I will help you with that.
Mhm.
Yes. All right. So I think we've talked about that it is a collective that we all own the starship and we never let the captain forget it. And now we need to envision the starship. Your ship is an important aspect of our characters and a character in its own right. What does it look like? What makes it interesting or uniquely yours? Does it have any particular quirks? If nothing occurs to you now, you can flesh it out and play or roll once or twice on the table below. Maybe we go around and sort of each pick out one of these things until it starts to feel too much. So Sam, you want to grab one of these things to describe the ship?
Yeah, so this is in addition to the AI thing.
Yes.
I think that if we've got this this AI that's relying on us to keep it patched up, it needs to be like interior spaces are crowded with exposed cables and conduits. The thing is like falling apart from the inside.
There's always something that you
There's
need to
always
work on.
something for me to fix.
It's a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Love it. Bethany, you want to pick one?
Sure. I really like the navigation logs contain coordinates to locations that do not and should not exist.
Yeah.
And the AI is not telling us what they are yet.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I shall patch you in a route to hell. Okay.
Yeah.
That was great. And Chris, you want to pick one?
Pass. Those are two great ones. I don't have a better one than those. I don't got one.
No, we can add one.
That I pass. I can't.
All right. I feel like I want to pick one. And there's so many good ones. God darn it.
Oh shoot. Can I pick one? I like
Yeah,
the
go.
ship is powered by an ancient precursor device. Right? Like
That makes sense. Yeah.
right.
So good.
Yeah.
We don't know
I
what
mean, the
this is.
precursors had AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what, yeah, maybe that's part of it.
Oh, guys. Yeah, this is really good.
This is so
The one I was gonna pick, not to jump ahead of you, Dan, but just because it builds off of both of those, the one I was gonna pick is placards and control labels are in an uncommon language.
oh,
For
yeah.
So
sure.
like this ship
sure.
is not originally from.
The translations are sharpied on as we figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have some labels that are like this or that. We're still not sure. Is this the bathroom lights or is this hyperspace? Yeah.
Maybe sometimes like it actually changes.
Definitely not weapons.
So just to be super duper clear, and if you've played with me before, you know this, I tend to go a little gonzo. I always am sort of on the PG-13 side of things. So if we do want to darken it up, I'm not the person to do that. So if I'm not hitting the right tone, please just let me know, because I will definitely make this corny ship in space.
Wacky space-time adventures.
Yeah, Pee Wee Herman's Wacky Space Time Adventures. All right, I feel really good about this ship, and I've noted it on our. Oh, look,
You still have to pick one, Dan.
you know what? I'm happy with this. I worry that if we pick too many, it'll be a little overwrought.
Oh, now I feel bad that I jumped ahead.
You don't have
No,
to do
yours
that.
that was the right call. That's totally
That
the right
was
call.
that was really good. I like all of these things, and I feel like we've created these really sort of dark, brooding characters on this kind of zany ship, and I really like the chemistry that is emerging here. Friends, I'm really glad that I felt like that could have taken a really long time, but it didn't, so that was really good. So now that we've done, oh wait, we need to name this sucker. Oh, I think that's what I'm left with.
Can we? Ooh, unless someone's got strong ideas, I think I'd like to play it a little bit. You know,
Oh, you want to play it before we name it? Yeah.
it's an option. It's an option.
Yeah, that's what we do with our children. Honestly, one of them still doesn't have a name. He's like 10 years old. We just call him Second. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so where are we in this process? So now we
Choose another asset.
choose another asset. And if you want to jump ahead, you can also assign values across your stats as well. For the asset, you can choose another path if you like, or a module or support vehicle. These are things that belong on the ship, or a companion. And I believe I've divided all those up in the Miro board. So why don't we take a few quiet minutes to look through those. We're really close to the end of this process. So.
I grabbed the utility bot unless anybody else really wants that one.
I think Lexi's got a little R2D2.
Yeah, I feel like that totally tracks. It's
Yeah,
the little
definitely.
dog looking thing in the picture.
I'm torn between the thing that makes the most sense and is practical and, a ridiculous fun one.
Same.
Like, do I want a glow cat or a med bay?
I mean, we can call it now, like there's only three or four sessions. Should we just pick extra ones?
We could also do accelerated advancement, and then like halfway through the thing, you get
I like that.
That's good.
You should take the glow cat. It's way cooler than the med bay.
I mean,
We're
it's
not
not
gonna-
like I
Go ahead.
kind of feel like this ship might not have a med bay that's usable on humans.
It
Like,
has
there
one,
seems to be
but
something
nothing
it
lines
might
up.
Have been a med bay, but like it's clearly not meant to work on humans.
State of the art for some other
Still trying
grub.
to figure it out, and then like if I take that as a with advancement, it'll be like, oh, I finally figured out how to use this thing.
Oh, that's
I like the idea that
perfect.
it's just sort of there, and I'm kind of fumbling around with it at this point.
There's the overseer on the board, which I think is appropriate.
Yeah, I was almost wondering if we should just take that as a group.
For me, it has to be there. So I'll take it. I'm cool to talk to the AI personally, but I think it'd be fun if all of us could talk to
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the AI.
Yeah, I feel like we should get that one for free, right?
Yeah, it's our game. Come on.
We can do it.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
We're also
Who's gonna
doing
stop
3
us?
sessions. It's kind of who cares if it
Right.
would be unbalanced.
I'm also okay with Chris marking it down on his thing if you really want to be kind of the focal point for that.
I don't feel. I'd rather. If other people want to do it, that's better by me.
Oh yeah, I should clarify. Like I'm good with you taking it
No,
as well. I
no,
just
I'm not- I
figure you don't have to
my
like
story-
lock down your.
No, my story is not about the AI, but it's definitely involved. Glow cat.
I know that we're like probably mostly doing space stuff, but I can't take my eyes off this hover bike.
We're
Are we
scavengers.
scavengers?
Yeah,
We're
man,
scavengers. We're going to be on planet.
we are definitely
Oh,
going
I'm
to be
taking
planet
it.
side. Yes.
Sold. I did not need much encouragement.
I assume that's got room for 2, right?
It does.
Hell yeah.
It's also unarmored and fast.
Oh, snub fighter. Oh, The service pod.
So the module that I really want as a devoted is like, what is that? Like a sanctuary, like a place where I could go worship, but that's not present. So I think I'm going to take expanded hold and say that even though that's where we store cargo, that's also where I perform my rituals. And I get really annoyed when we store too much cargo in there, because where do I get to do my stuff?
Oh, question. Are you a devotant of the what did we call them?
Primordial.
The primordials, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
In
Yes.
which case, would you be concerned about us taking on too much Essentia primordial stuff, or do you treat those as relics when we have them in storage?
Oh,
Which one?
this whole ship is your shrine.
Yes, in a sense. I feel like I was thinking about this and then I forgot what I was going to do, but I was thinking that my god is the god of grubs. So like the god who
Brought on here.
who loves who supports scavengers.
Yeah.
But that felt a little too on the nose, but maybe that's okay here.
Maybe it's like a chicken and the egg thing again, where like, because grubs are going down into these primordial places, they have learned more about them, and then there is this one primordial that's like, hey, they do the same kind of things we do. They're all about like discovery and taking things and taking them apart and putting them back together again, kind of a thing. And so they've just kind of adopted this. And so you could kind of fit. It's not that they are like the god of grubs, but it is the god that grubs have adopted
I like
as
that.
their own.
All right, if you've picked your third, why don't you assign stats? And remember, the stat block is 3, 2, 2, and 1, 1. And I don't know if you need any insight as to what the different what are these things called? Attributes are.
Yeah. What's the difference between heart and iron? Which one's like willpower-y? Is that iron?
Actually, he's got a good description of them. Let me find it here. Here we go. So I'm sharing it on my screen. Heart is courage, willpower, empathy, sociability, and loyalty. Iron is physical strength, endurance, aggressiveness.
Oh, okay.
So edge is more like dex.
Yep.
Dude.
I grabbed us a snub fighter, by the way.
All righty. Let's see where we are in our process here. Yeah, we're just at details here. So if you haven't done it already, you can set your health, spirit, and supply to +5, your momentum to +2, and your your max momentum at 10, and your reset at 2. Those should be preset for you. Then you can add some details and some names and any kind of personal gear.
Sorry, where was health? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so lines 17, 18, and 19, those are all set to where they're supposed to be. So,
gotcha, thanks.
All right, so let's take a quick bio break, if that is okay with you all. And then we've got one more. Why don't we leave the kind of other random details here? And we've got one more little exercise to do, which I'd really like to get done today so that next time we can pick up on the adventure. And that's to build a starting sector. What's pretty cool about this is like, this is not in Ironsworn at all. This is kind of a new thing. So I'm excited to do this. I've got 12 past the hour. I could use 5 minutes. So let's reconvene at 17 past. Sound good?
Cool.
All right, friends. See you in a moment. So the last step, a long haul. The last step here is our starting sector, which is pretty cool. So sort of the place where our ship is hanging out right now. This area space will serve as the backdrop. Your adventures will begin. He's got a lot of tools, I think, for kind of creating sectors and stuff. We should talk about, I mean, that's a rabbit hole we can really easily go down. Part of me is excited about that, but also because I love those kinds of things. But part of me is also like, I just want to tell the story. Let's do it now. And let's see how we feel about it. And then we'll decide if we want to kind of use these mechanisms again later on. It looks like what we'll be creating is kind of basically just a handful of settlements and then how they're connected to each other. So we'll figure out kind of where within the Forge our region is, how many settlements we're looking at overall, the planets within those areas, and the stars, ultimately creating this kind of sector map of how close everything is to each other. And then the passages between them, which are like the hyperspace lanes. And I think that is, and then maybe some details about a particular settlement, and then how we're all connected to it. So a few steps to go through here. And then sector trouble, and then naming it. It's always more. So to start at the top, I feel like I'm just going to do sort of what we did before, is like each person takes a step and kind of identifies what they want to do. Some of these steps, there's not a lot to do, so we'll just skip over those. But maybe Chris, I'll start with you. We have to choose our starting region. So recall there are 4 regions. We looked at that map kind of the Forge before, where the terminus, this is where most of the settlements are. This is where humanity landed when they arrived in the Forge. Outlands, recent expansion, the Expanse, bold pioneers have delved in these far-flung regions, and then the Void are the very edges of the Forge.
We have 3 episodes, yeah?
It says, don't start your campaign here. Okay, well, thanks for listing it then. Do you have a preference among these 3?
I kind of take the Void as a bit of a challenge, right? he lists and says, don't choose this. I'm not going to, but I like the idea. So we have like, what, 3 episodes?
Yeah.
So if we start the Expanse, we can go to the Outlands and then the Terminus, and that just works out a little bit too nicely for me not to. So I like the Expanse. Yeah, I like that there. This is sort of taking us to being very mindful of our fugitive and our outcasts, for example. But also this is where all the good stuff in terms of the artifacts lay. That sounds great. There are settlements. We'll generate a few settlements for a starting location.
the expanse, we're just going to generate 2 settlements, which means this activity is scaled very nicely for the remaining time we have. Oh my gosh, I have a very sensitive scroll wheel. All right, so generate settlement details. So this is us bouncing out to all of these different generators that he has. That allows us to kind of create a settlement. Well, there we go. So settlement name, do we want to roll, or Bethany, do you want to just point at the screen and pick one of these out at random?
I was just thinking that I actually ran another random name generator and came up with the name Vortex Enclave for the place ruled by Lexi's relative. So like maybe that's a good name. Let's just say Vortex Enclave.
Love it. All right, there we go. And that's the settlement name. And then we need to determine its location.
It's in the, or isn't it the, is it where we start, or is it just
it's
anywhere?
in the expanse. The question is it on a planet? Is it in orbit around a planet, or is it in deep space? Bethany, why don't you take this whole kind of settlement? So do you have a preference among one of those?
I think it's in deep space.
Yes, it is. And its population is probably in the lower numbers. Hundreds. Love it.
Yeah.
What's the name of the place again?
Here, I'll just type it.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes again on
Thank you, Sam.
another sheet, but the Vortex Enclave.
Love it.
Owned by the, what is it, family? What do you call it? Like the Locke family or Clan Locke? The
Locke family.
Locke family. All right.
Oh my gosh.
What's the deal with the Locke family? Are they like scientists? Are they like?
I think they're just like rich people. It's kind of I forget what the rule of the rich oligarchy. Is that what that one is?
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah.
I forget those words.
That is oligarchy. There's only it's out in orbit in the we're in the expanse.
Maybe they've got an outpost there. Maybe that's where they hide their wealth. Maybe
Is it their summer? Is it their summer station?
It's where they summer.
I was thinking it's like one member of the family who's trying to like strike out on his own and become a tyrant in a small station, you know, before moving
like
on
that.
to larger.
It's like the Cape Cod of, yeah. All right, so we've got the population. I think you've sort of fictionally identified the authority as oppressive or corrupt. What do we think? How would you describe? I mean, it's sort of authoritarian, right? It's just
I don't know that they're necessarily oppressive in as much as they're all fighting each other for control. I don't think that they really care what goes on in the day to day. I'm leaning much more toward corrupt.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
Good, yeah.
Why is preview not going where I'm telling it to go? Why does preview hate me so much? All right. Sorry to scroll again, but here we are.
It's got a lot of stuff here, man.
Yeah.
So frustrating. We're close. We're close. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it.
And one thing that I've done is if you open it to the table of contents, it is actually table of contented pretty well. So you can just open up the drop downs that you need.
Perfect. Thank you for that advice. And then settlement projects. What is this person doing in deep space? Just lost it.
I mean, archaeology makes sense if this is where people come to either to sell things they've scavenged or let's see.
Can we say black market?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Because if it's in deep space, then it's basically a space station, right? Just kind of
Right.
floating out there. But
and there aren't many of them, so it can't be
Right.
specialized.
Right. And can we make this like kind of a cantina? Like a little bit of a seedy place where the rich come to gamble and such? Does that sound all right?
Oh, it's a giant casino ship.
Yeah, it's a
Oh
giant
yeah. Oh yeah. I love that one.
money laundering black market operation.
Yeah. Where they auction off. They have to auction off the I don't know what we call them, the relics, whatever people find.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
anything
I
that's
think
illegal.
The black market
they're
part,
in.
yeah, exactly.
Here.
Weapons or high grade AI, like you have to assume that the covenant doesn't let you sell certain things, that they want them first, you know?
So that was settlement number one. We've got another settlement to do. Sam, do you want to take a crack at it?
I mean, I can. I feel like I also had quite a bit of a hand in the last one with the whole family connection. If somebody else wants to,
Well, maybe cap it off then, Sam. What's the who is running?
Oh, the second project. I thought you meant the second settlement.
No, I meant the like who from your family is running the station.
Who is the lock that's running the station?
Oh, the current lock.
Yeah.
Let's have his name be Trenton Lock, because of course he needs an obnoxious, frustratingly Chad type name.
One day we're going to play with a Trenton and we're going to feel bad about this statement, but today is not that day. All right, Michael, then I think you are up for a settlement name.
All right. Wait, the name comes first?
Doesn't have to.
Welcome to my reality. I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Sure. The name of this one is Nyx, NYX.
That sounds great.
I like that.
And the next thing is, where is it? Is it on a planet? Is it orbiting a planet? Or is it in deep space? Obviously, I'd want to skip deep space since we just did one there.
Yeah, I think let's have this one be planet side.
Yeah.
Love it. And population?
Let's go. Well, let's go thousands. Bunch of people live on this planet.
I think that's good. In this particular settlement on this planet.
Yeah.
And what's the authority there like?
What's the difference between like in this context between unyielding and oppressive?
Unyielding might be like against nature. Versus oppressive would be like whoever is the government is hurting the people. Unyielding would be like the people are banded together against some sort of common threat.
I might frame it as like unyielding is sort of like Singapore, where they're not necessarily like there are lots of very strict rules of how you're supposed to act. Whereas oppressive is we are coming down on our people.
Okay, yeah, let's go with
It's
unyielding.
like unwilling to
fun.
compromise or
Yeah.
not
Yeah, yeah.
flexible at all.
Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds interesting.
Rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's good.
And I think the last thing that you pick is the projects. I like this one.
Oh, there's a couple of good things here.
Sam, I think you should pick one for Trenton too. Back on the shoot the vortex.
Oh, pick a project.
I think so. I think that would add
Let's-
some dynamism to it, you know?
Okay, yeah. Let's see what the dice say. 1.
He's got
I got a
little,
1 on a D100. All
he's
right.
got a little garden that he
Oh,
really
yeah.
likes.
No,
Ambitious
I think-
project on a space
I
station.
think I think it's more. I don't think it's nearly as egalitarian as that. I think this is a tiny spaceship that is absolutely 100% reliant on other places to get them food, and he doesn't like that.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So the project is like, how do we produce our
How
own
do we
food?
become
That's good. Yeah.
more self-sufficient?
I mean, there's a trope in sci-fi that this just made me think of, where like the evil, the main bad guy confronts the hero in some kind of hydroponic garden.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's sort of
Yeah.
like meant to be this big contrast between sort of the gleaming metallic reality of the science fiction setting with this person's control over nature.
Mhm, mhm.
Trenton totally has a hydroponic garden, and it's all organic. It's awesome. And he confronts people in it.
Oh, for sure.
But back to Nyx. Michael,
Yeah,
have you
back
had a
to
chance
Nyx.
to think about what's going on Nyx?
Yeah, I think let's go with terraforming.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Maybe there is some kind of strange fauna. And if you all are, I mean, we said no harm to animals, or we veiled no harm or harm to animals in our lines and veils. But I wonder if Trenton and his rich jerk friends come to go hunting in Nyx as well. Do we feel okay with that, or is that getting too close to our?
I'm gonna say no.
You're gonna X card that? Okay,
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
I'm okay with there being like dangerous or strange fauna on this planet, but I don't know that hunting for sport is something that I'm super excited about.
I don't think it fits either with having the garden, you know?
Sure.
Like the, you know,
That's fine.
love this sort of deal.
So,
What's this about settlement trouble? Sorry.
I think we roll that later.
Okay.
What's the other project that Nyx is doing?
Terraforming, right?
We've got terraforming, and usually it says 1 or 2 times, or do we want to just leave it at terraforming?
Why? Well, I guess the question is like, why would you go to? Is this a good world, or are they just terraforming because they have to, like because it's so inhospitable?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Like maybe it's barely habitable as is. Like, yes, people can live there, but it could support so many more people if we terraformed it, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So like maybe the second project would be expansion then.
Hmm?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's a real fixer-upper planet.
Yeah, like our ship.
Yeah.
We're drawn to it. All right. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about. I think it's region or sector trouble that we do. Introduce a sector trouble. Yeah, so it's kind of things affecting the whole sector. If any of the settlements are located on a planet or in orbit around a planet, you can identify the name of the planet to help flesh it out. So let's look at these. Planet. Ooh, that's pretty. So I think, Chris, we're up to you. We've got Nyx situated on a planet.
Tainted
Which
world. Tainted world. Tainted World, easy. Right, come on.
A foul planet racked by a poisonous climate and virulent growths. So we are terraforming and expanding on this lovely world. I imagine the atmosphere is marginal.
Yeah, I like people having to wear masks in
Right.
bad weather. Like maybe you can get away with it in really
Right.
good weather, but
And project 2
Oh,
of
yeah.
this is expansion.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm helping.
I don't think we named an authority, by the by, did we?
It was unyielding.
Oh, unyielding. Oh, okay. Oh, that's not what I think of when I think of authority. I would we said oligarchy for the last vortex. Sorry, vortex station. I keep forgetting the second word. Check it.
Vortex enclave.
Enclave. Oh, dude, that's the better word. Come on.
And then we said it was a toxic atmosphere.
Tainted world.
Taint.
Yeah.
Marginal.
Marginal.
Yeah, marginal atmosphere. Yeah, that's the right word.
Okay.
We know there's a planet side settlement. These are great.
Yeah, geez. I would have been fine with just one, you know.
Is do you want to describe anything observed from space, Chris?
Oh, observed from space. Holy, I love toxic seas. I think that's cool.
This place is a disaster. I love it.
This whole universe is.
I kind of like too. I like a fungal forest and toxic seas.
Yes. You got those, Sam?
I like both of those. Those are cool.
And you want to pick one or two planet side features?
It's got to be the spore clouds because of the fungal forests.
Oh, is that why the atmosphere is marginal?
Yeah, for sure. Right, you have to wear a mask to keep
Don't
out
want
the
to inhale
fungal
spores.
spores.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is so like Nausicaa.
I'm reading.
Oh,
I'm
damn it.
reading
I did-
Nausicaa right now.
It's very good.
I love it. Gelatinous ponds is almost interesting.
Yeah.
It's it's very different from everything else that's been put on the rest, right? Like a gelatinous, that's kind of good, right? It could be.
Yeah, it could taste really good.
Mhm.
You could skate on it in the winter.
Mhm. I like a gelatinous pond in there as a resource sort of
Yeah,
deal.
I'm almost thinking the spores are so thick that they've almost congealed any standing water.
Mhm. I like the idea that the gelatinous ponds are actually they're not toxic, or at least they're not always toxic. There's got to be some redeeming feature of this toxic tainted world.
Maybe that's why they decided to make a settlement here,
Yeah.
because there's actually some value to the jelly
Yeah.
in the pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it provides,
That's
I don't
fun.
know,
I should.
maybe that's like the water source.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, we gotta
Since
have
the
something.
diseases are toxic.
And it's
Mhm.
a very easily transportable water source because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still in space.
Just carve out a chunk of it.
Yeah, and so that has a lot of value in a spacefaring society.
So cool.
Carvable water. Chris, you get to name this planet.
Do I get-
We also
there's-
have to pick how much
Oh,
light
yes.
there is. I feel like bountiful or overrun kind of makes sense with giant forests of fungus.
Yes. You okay with that, Chris?
Yeah, but the only question I have is where do we think? Well, number one, this is how many people we said tens of thousands.
No,
Uh,
just thousands.
Just
Just
thousands. Yeah.
So there's only what, maybe
Or,
one
sorry.
main settlement.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's only thousands in that one settlement.
And we are
There-
one.
There could be more settlements, right?
I feel like that's the end goal of the terraforming and the expansion, but maybe for now it's just
Yeah, I like the idea that it's just the one, and maybe there's some scattered peoples, but there's not a lot of built up. So, but my question would be where would wherever this settlement is, whatever its name is, where would it be relative to all the action? Because if it's bountiful and overrun, I would want wherever the human settlement is to be a bit separate, you know.
We can only settle on mountaintops because the spores don't go up.
I like that.
Yeah,
Nix is on a mountain. I love it.
Oh,
That's great.
Yeah. You can do a little bit of gondolin and keep like the gelatinous pod is in like a breakout of a bunch of mountains around it or something. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Oh,
didn't,
the
do we name
gelatinous
it?
ponds are maybe like old volcano. What was it, caldera?
Oh, I love that idea.
Bubbling. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to overstate this, but I feel like this section of planet generators was worth the whole Kickstarter.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we only had one settlement that was on a planet, so we only needed to generate one planet, which is admittedly a little disappointing because that was fun.
That was really cool.
We do need to name it.
Right.
Yeah.
I meant to ask Chris the name. So,
I'm very open to suggestions.
One of the sample names under Tainted World is Miasma,
it's pretty
which
good.
just immediately leaped out.
I like it if only everyone could say it a little bit different. Miasme.
There's arguments over like, what are we going to call this when we actually want people to come here? Because we got to change the name. But for now, it's miasma.
It's one of those placeholder names that just sticks around.
That's very good.
This is a Yiddish word, drek, that means poop, by the way.
Oh,
So
that one did jump out to me, by the way.
yeah. But I like miasma. That's good. That was so good. Okay. Should we generate a star? I feel like I haven't had a chance to do one.
Yeah, let's have this be in some kind of solar system type deal for us to navigate around in, at least. So
What? Sorry, when it says sector, are we talking about like a solar system, like just the one? Like both of these things have to be around the same thing, or
Not necessarily.
no, but that kind of keeps the scope down for a 3 to 4 session
Yeah.
thing. I
But
think
it-
sector just means any region of space.
doesn't matter though. We have an AI ship, ancient derelict ship that can get us from one place to the other, right? As long as they're close.
I'm gonna say, look at all these tables. I'm going to say that I like young star incubating in a molecular cloud.
Cool.
All right. So now we need to create our sector map. I thought I might sketch this out quick since it's literally just two-ish things. Sketch this out quick in the Miro board. So I will create another frame here, and they have some suggestions. Dots or circles for settlements work fine. An orbital segment is a circle with an arrow. A planet-side settlement is a circle with a sign, and a deep space settlement is a square. So we've got a circle which is miasma, which has Nix on it, and we have a square which is our settlement, our outer space settlement, and we decided this was called the Vortex Enclave or Trenton's Party Palace. All right, settle down here, frame. And I'm sketching, by the way, in Miro, and you can click on my face to follow me around. And this is miasma with Nix. Any concerns with how I've laid this out? We should put the sun in.
Yep. That was my big question. Where's the sun? Well, it's like a forming sun too, right?
Yeah. Haven't named the sun yet.
I'm gonna
just
say
randomly rolled a name and I got Draw, DRAA, which is kind of fun.
it's kind of like Ra.
The draw system.
Here's this though. We said the Vortex Enclave. I assume the Vortex Enclave is like mobile, right?
Yes. Well, it could be. I mean, it could be fixed or it could be in orbit around the sun, right? It could be,
Yeah, I figured it was an orbiting station
Hmm.
that was just orbiting the whole system.
Do we think it's interstellar? It can fly itself, or is it they got built here and now it's just here?
It is very fun to have it used to be interstellar,
right?
and then it either broke down or they tore it apart to the point where it can no longer leave and it is now just here.
Okay.
So our next step is to add passages. There's not really a lot of choice here, I don't think. Since we're out in the expanse, we have just one passage. A passage is basically a hyperspace, a known hyperspace lane to get to a settlement. My assumption is that, well,
how does FTL even work?
I was going to say the book has a reasonably good kind of account of this. Eidolon drives, E-drives, drifts are the network of Eidolon paths through the forge. Plotted course along a drift is called a passage. So he goes into some of this, and anchorages are like nodes or waypoints along the way. So my assumption was that maybe the drift or the passage was attached to miasma, unless someone wants to make the argument that the passage actually goes to the Vortex Enclave.
I kind of like the idea of, like, in Star Wars, you have to put up like kind of like buoys. You know, you need to, in order to connect into like the hyperspace, you actually need like data and charts. So I do like the idea that the anchorage here, the Vortex Enclave is what establishes the route here.
Yeah, it's like it's the hub for this this system. That is a very fun thing. Like they came in and they brought their hyperdrive or E-drive system with them to kind of set up this thing, and now they're also kind of exploiting that and using it as like tolls, and in order to get anything out of the system you have to go through them.
So do we so according to the rules here, a passage can connect two settlements, or it can connect a settlement to the edge of the map to represent that it goes to another sector. Based on what we're saying, it's not that these two are connected to each other. It's that the Vortex Enclave is connected to the edge of the map.
Easiest way out of the system.
Everyone good with that?
Yeah, I like that.
All right. It will be helpful to have some additional detail for one of the settlements. Starting in your sector, you might begin the campaign in the midst of a layover or just arriving there as your story opens. Oh yeah. Choose one of the settlements in your starting sector, whichever is most interesting to you. What about both of them? And then return to the settlement oracle starting on page 24 and roll on the following tables. So does anyone have a strong preference for which settlement we zoom in on? I am inclined to do Vortex Enclave, like maybe we're crashing a party, but I would understand Sam and Bethany if your characters did not want to show up at a lock place.
Yeah.
I mean, that does build in tension.
It is built in tension. I feel like it might be better for us to get our feet under us. Maybe we're on a scavenging job on
Yeah.
Miasma to kind of get us started.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and we have to go through the Enclave
Yeah.
to get
And then
out.
we have to go through the Enclave to go to the next thing, which sets
Love it.
us up
Yeah,
perfectly
that's
for
good.
that.
All right, so we're on Miasma. We're looking at Nyx, specifically at Nyx. So this kind of the settlement that's being created in this horrible, horrible place. We need a first look. Sam, do you want to pick out one of these first looks?
See what the dice say. Built from random scrap.
A running theme.
A running theme of this like Outlands, this expanse planet. Like everything here is repurposed, born from previous starships, and like you can see that there's very clearly like a cockpit or like a bridge that has been turned into like the central hub of the city, and everything are these. Like if you know your way around a spaceship, you can point out like there's an engine that person is using as a grocery store. And
Right. And then, so that was one first look. We can do a second first look, and then do a trouble. Chris, do you want to pick out another first look for Nyx?
Yeah, I would. I was going to roll too. That's a good idea.
The dice never lie.
Just one moment here. Got 92 within or near. I mean, come on.
Actually, the descriptor.
That's fine.
is focus.
No, I know what it says, but I'm going to go with the one I was excited about.
Okay, what's that?
The near precursor vault. I think that's just too good, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's inside the vault, but it's
Why
what
we're
we're going
there.
for, I assume.
Don't worry.
That's absolutely why we're there.
They got a table.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I say we figure that out next time.
Yeah, that's a good table.
And where am I? Zoom in. And then settlement trouble. We've got this table here. Bethany, you want to pick settlement trouble for Nyx?
Sure. I mean, it has a hazardous environment just by definition. So
Right.
Let's see if there's more. I think there's an impending natural disaster.
That's cool.
Perfect.
I mean, if we're on a volcano, it could just be like, geologic earthquakes, potentially, it could erupt at any time, something like that.
I'm going to fast forward just so we can end at 11 Eastern. And a connection represents an important relationship with an NPC. You'll create connections with NPCs and advance those relationships. You have a single connection in the starting sector. I feel like maybe Sam's character and Bethany's character kind of have this already. I've got an idea brewing about a connection here. Oh, wait, if you're playing with others, you will create a single connection as part of this exercise, shared connection through. So I think it's Trenton is our shared connection here.
We are
If that's
all
okay with
in some way or shape or form mad at Trenton.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's easy. Just listen to his name. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like an irritating guy.
Just listening.
Are we going to get the whatever artifact for Trenton? Is that the implication? Are we?
I don't
Or maybe for someone
imagine.
else, and we have to sneak it past Vortex Enclave, which means
Yeah,
sneaking
I
it
think
past
it's
Trenton.
more of the like we're getting it for somebody else or getting it for a rival, and we have to get it past him. I like that.
We know anyone on Nyx then? Well, what about we forgot about the captain too, right? Isn't the captain supposed to be the guy who knows our connections, or the gal, or the?
Actually, I think we should I'm looking at this make a connection move. Basically, it's saying use the results of a strong hit. And I wonder if we should all add the captain as a connection, just by virtue of fast forwarding, as well as creating connection to Nyx, for example. I don't know. Part of me is just sort of, in the interest of time, okay with maybe we don't create a shared connection, and each of us thinks of what that connection could be as some homework for us. So I think what I will do on my character keeper is, they don't have a place for this, do they? Is certainly add the captain as a shared connection, and then someone else on Nyx. Let's just see if there's.
There was an NPCs tab. It was just named a different thing, so I renamed it as NPCs.
Oh, thanks for doing that. And now the table that we've all been waiting for, sector trouble. I almost want to let the die speak for us here. Someone have a D100 that they can roll. Sam.
Do us the honor, Sam.
32. Magnetic disturbances disrupt communication. So that one way out that we just came up with is currently being disrupted, and everybody's freaking out about it.
I like it. All right, friends. That was really fun. There was a lot there. I'm really proud of us for getting through it all. Typically, as most of you know, at the end of these sessions, we do stars and wishes. Can everyone stick around for a couple minutes to do those? And let's just make them real fast, if that's okay. Chris, have you done these before? Stars and wishes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let me just pull up a place where I can write this down. You know what I'm going to just do? And do it in the Miro board. So Chris, why don't you start first? Stars and wishes, if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, stars are the tables of this game. I mean, wow. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, they're just a gift. I'm so excited to see these in action. I think that this was a really cool. It's kind of like a little bit of a writer's room energy we got going on. I thought that was great. I'm excited to see how all of our GM voices mesh to give us some good troubles to experience. I think we're set up for a disaster here, so this is pretty exciting. Yeah, wishes. I mean, look, I'm shooting to get a little bit of. We need to get back to the core. We need to face down my Uncle Gardouz, and I'm excited to see how all our characters intertwine on the way there.
Love it. Bethany.
Yeah. Stars to everybody for the really incongruous and interesting combinations of assets everyone picked, like these paths. Yeah, an augmented devoted. All right, cool. They're all really interesting, and all like bring multiple, I guess, facets of each character together. And I really am looking forward to seeing these people all bump into each other.
And wishes.
I don't really have any specific wishes. I'm just kind of along for the ride. I want to see where this goes.
Love it. Sam.
My 2 stars are to the really, really cool and exciting settlements that we came up with. Those just sound like such stereotype. Like, I can see both of these just being in a Star Wars episode or something like that. They're very evocative and very cool sounding. And then like a second special star to Bethany. It means a lot when somebody else just comes in and is like, hey, that cool thing out of your backstory, I'm also gonna hop on that, and that's really nice. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that was great.
But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to all this stuff. I guess the only wish that I have is I want to explore miasma more. I want to see what all these crazy fungus things are, and I want to see what's in this precursor vault.
Yeah, precursor vault. Fantastic. And Michael.
Yeah, stars to everybody for their characters. Like, as cool as the world we've made is, it's really like the people that populate it, and I am so excited to see, you know, these 5 characters go on adventures together. They're all so interesting, and I feel like there are going to be so many moments when they both do and don't get along, and I am super here for it. As far as wish, I want to get into that precursor vault.
Mhm.
I want to see what's in there.
That's step 1.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe we've got a game about exploring the universe, and there's like this one place we want to get into.
Well, it's right there.
It's there, and it's just calling for us.
We're already here.
Star to Sam for taking notes. Thank you for doing that, my friend. Star to Chris. I love playing with people for the first time. Welcome to the Gauntlet.
Thanks, guys.
And what else? Wait, I knew I wanted to say something else. Hang on. Yeah, I really liked these combinations of things that we picked out. So I appreciate everyone's selections there. Wishes. I can't wait to meet my character, like really get to know my character. And I really want to figure out what role religion plays in her life. So or his life, excuse me. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that's what I got. Friends, I'm going to stop the recording now. And I'm going to ask you